Welcome to YouTube Table of Contents. We are your hosts, like Jason Joseph, aka Ridiculous. We are YouTube's TV guide, giving you all the channels that you should know about. We cover everything from comedians to podcasts, tech channels, the list goes on and on. So, if this is your first time, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Let's begin. Alright. These next contents, wrestling. You know how we love wrestling. This next channel, Being the Elite. What is Being the Elite? This is Matt and Nick Jackson. I think it's the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, Cody Rhodes. Look, it's the Bullet Club and they have their own YouTube channel. Why should you watch Being the Elite? Well, if you're an if you're an AEW fan, this is kind of like slick backstory for their entire platform, if you will. The Bullet Club is always, Being the Elite. Hey, they're the new NWO. It is what it is. That's one that aren't taken advantage of. The Bullet Club has always been ahead of the curve, and they just keep outdoing themselves. And this is kind of like a way of giving you wrestling without wrestling. They have matches. It's not necessarily the primary goal of this. Their comedy, it's an acquired taste, but this is the new generation and this is what they're into. So, you either get with it or get out. So, I'm always down with the Bullet Club. What is the best thing about the Bullet Club? What is the best thing about Being the Elite? It's the Bullet Club, the new NWO. We've seen the torch pass. We saw the passing of the torch. AJ did it. Impact Wrestling, always gonna support that. Like I said, this is Being the Elite, aka the Bullet Club. Give or take a few members. They're everywhere, still in that company, New Japan. And hey, we even got some that might pop up. So Being the Elite gives you a backdoor insight to all things AEW. Shouts out to them. Thank you, Cody Rhodes. Thank the entire Rhodes family. Dusty is looking down, loving every minute of this. Keep up the good work. Being the Elite is the best thing. And Being the Elite was actually out before AEW Dynamite. And like I say, with their wide range that is on display within what we call Being the Elite, the backstage of AEW, it really allows them to display the various creative juices that make all things great these days. Keep it up, Being the Elite. Alright. This next wrestling channel, Matt Hardy brand. I ain't even gotta say what Matt Hardy is. You know who Matt Hardy is. Delete! 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 Quick history lesson. In a land far, far away named Music City, there was an entity called TNA. And here your various favorite wrestlers came and reinvented themselves. I'm talking about, oh my God, Christian came. R-Truth came and reinvented itself. Kurt Angle, Booker T, the list goes on. Not only did TNA create various different characters from the ground up, but they helped reinvent many of our favorites, and here, Broken Matt Hardy was born. Why should you watch the Matt Hardy brand? Because it's kind of like a sane Pee-wee's Playhouse of wrestling. You kind of get where I'm coming from. During his various transitions from various companies, he was able to keep his Broken Matt Hardy character alive through the transition of the Matt Hardy compound on this very channel. What's the best thing about Matt Hardy brand? We get the Hardy compound. And because we get the compound, we get the Matt Hardy family. What can I say? This is some of the most ingenious wrestling that you will ever see. And from his compound match that made history and impact, oh my God, due to the Dos Equis sickness, what can I say? This form of wrestling cinema has changed the way that we can appreciate wrestling. And what can I say? We're in this situation where due to Matt Hardy's style of creation on the compound, all these companies have had to think outside the box. And once again, like those other guys, Matt was ahead of the curve, and all of these companies have relied, due to the Dos Equis sickness, to think inside or outside the box, and this box Matt Hardy's family actually built. So Matt Hardy brand is awesome due to the fact of the creation that it's given the wrestling world. We're getting all kinds of various forms of entertainment now, interchanged within cinema, and we really truly do owe it to the Matt Hardy family. Check out Matt Hardy brand, where you can find all things Hardy Boys and enjoy and delete. delete. I can't wait till Jeff gets deleted so we can have them together. Oh my God, we're gonna have great matches. Wednesday night Dynamite on TNT. First of all, I would just like to say before I do this next and last channel, most definitely not least, I had no idea, and this just shows you how the universe works, that the Bullet Club was gonna start their own wrestling company, hire JR, somehow Matt Hardy was gonna leave the WWE and come, and all of them are in the same company, AEW Dynamite, every Wednesday on TNT. This last channel, and most definitely not least, the OG, Grilling with JR. What is Grilling with JR? JR's official home on YouTube. And good old JR, formerly of Monday Night Raw, and now the new voice of of AEW Dynamite, every Wednesday on TNT's Colorized Classics. Why should you check out Grilling with JR? For 40 years, Jim Ross has been the voice of wrestling. From his start as a referee in the regional territories, he has become the executive vice president of the WWE, and nobody has a story quite like Jim Ross. From recruiting and hiring some of the biggest superstars in the industry and providing truly the soundtrack of the most important moments in wrestling history, good old JR was there for it all. Every Thursday morning, Conrad Thompson grills JR like you never ever heard before, uncensored and uncut. Or what's the best thing about grilling JR? The stories. And we're blessed to have JR in this internet era where all of this can be documented. Look, an old head once told me, anytime an old head befriends you, just ask him this one favor. Tell him to tell you two stories. What was the worst day of his life? And then ask him what was the best day of his life. And I guarantee you will have two more answers for that question. Now, whatever you do, don't answer him the other way. He'll fuck around and kill himself in front of you. You can't be having no old folks having strokes. But check out Grilling JR, OG Supreme, now on AEW's Dynamite on TNT's Colorized Classics. Let's recap. Today's content was wrestling. What was our first channel? Bullet Club still in the building. NWO for life. We are in control. Look, those words just mean so much now. And last but not least, Grilling JR. Check out those three wrestling channels. You cannot go wrong. I told you, we love wrestling here at WTBS. I have been your host, like Jason Joseph, aka Ridiculous. If this has been your first time, please like, share, and subscribe.